we are in a process of becoming more of who we are. We are developing our consciousness, developing our awareness. We live in the world with a very practical understanding of life and how to survive and how to get through it and how to hopefully enjoy it. But there's another level of consciousness that Kabbalah talks about. In the world of becoming, we become more aware, we become more conscious of who we are and how we can live in the world. And the more aware we become that there is a higher wisdom to all of life, we can step into this higher wisdom and start to understand that we have the capacity to understand more. And I first came into this experience and this teaching because I was asking, what is it about us? I'm an architect. I'm a designer. And I looked at the planet and I said, this doesn't make sense. This planet doesn't make sense to me. Because here we are, conscious beings on this little planet, and yet we can't seem to figure out how to create peace. We can't figure out how to stop the suffering and the struggles that people go through. And I wasn't satisfied with that. I felt we need to be able to solve the problems. And so I asked from the bottom of my heart, I need to know, what is it? Why are we here? And I think it was as an architect, as a designer, that I was asking without realizing it, because I was really just asking myself. But without realizing it, I was asking the great designer, the ultimate design. And little did I know that when you ask, you are heard and you get answers. And you are taken on a path to discover more about what life is about. And one of the first books I was guided to as I asked these questions was Masilat Yesharim. Rabbi Lusato is telling us what we have within us is something that we already know, we already understand, but there's more to it. There's a deeper understanding. Any psychotherapist among the group will know that we have to discover more of what's going on inside of us in order to come through into a clearer understanding of life itself. This is what our sages of blessed memory said. This world is like a corridor before the world to come. So before the world of becoming, before we can even step into this next level of consciousness, we have to know that this is the place, this is the world right now, what we can see and what we can experience right now, that has to be examined and understood more clearly. Human beings were placed first in this world, in this level of understanding, the level of survival, so that through these means prepared for us here, we will be able to reach the place prepared for us, namely the world to come. And then we can be sated with the good which gets acquired through these means. This is what our sages of blessed memory said, today to do them and tomorrow to receive the reward. And that means that when we learn to live in a way that is more conscious, more mindful, becoming more mindful, becoming more aware of what's going on inside of us, we start to see life from a clearer perspective. It's interesting, we come into a clearer understanding of the experiences we're going through. We see them from a deeper perspective. It's almost as if we're having a curtain open, drawn apart, so that we can see more clearly what life is about. And that's what happens as we pay attention. That we're here to learn more, to discover more. And it takes patience to go deeper into who we are. But we can do this. And So it's not just following rules. This is what a lot of people think of when they look at Judaism. A lot of people turn away from Judaism because they feel there's just so many things to do and it feels like restriction. But in fact, it's giving us a clearer insight into who we are. And we can't know this until we actually do it, which is what he's saying earlier on. We have to do it today. And tomorrow we'll start to see why we're doing it. Really, what it is coming into a clearer perspective. The whole universe is an ocean of consciousness. And we are like waves within this ocean of consciousness. So we are learning how to recognize that we are part of this whole system of consciousness called the universe. And we have been blessed to be given this consciousness within us. In fact, the universe is a creative process, and we are creative beings who live within this grand creative process. So the grand creative process of the universe, the one we call Ein Sof, the infinite, has created us to be smaller versions of this creative process. So when people say, how can we be made in the image of God? We don't see anyone who looks like us. It's not that there's someone who looks like us, it's a bigger version of us, but to understand that we are creative beings, all of us. We create language, we create sentences, we create communication, we create all the things we create every day just by existing. And this is the smaller version of the creative process of the universe, obviously on a much, much smaller scale. But this is who we are. In other words, you'll come into a realization that everything is in fact in harmony. It's just we can't see it from the physical material world. We have to learn how to elevate our consciousness in order to see more light. And the elevation of our consciousness comes from a loving heart. And I think that everyone here has that capacity right off. I mean, it's so clear to me. Whoever's in this class, I can see you already have a loving heart. And that's what it takes, that loving heart to be committed to being at peace in the world, learning how to create peace within ourselves.